Welcome back to my session. As part of our DBMS training, today we continue with view of database management system and integrity constraints. Okay, before we start our session, please subscribe Eazy Btech, your guide for Btech and beyond. Okay, first, what is view of DBMS? In a DBMS, data is visualized in each and every level of abstraction. Okay, how data can be stored and what data can be stored and what is the structure of data. Suppose if you wanted to purchase a mobile, okay, we wanted to know what about the capacity of data and how it can be stored and what type of file structure it has. Similarly, if you want to design any DBMS structure, first once we decided about data model, then we go with the how data can be stored and what is the structure of data we are using. Okay, here instance and schema. What is instance and what is schema? Database changes over a time as the information is inserted and deleted is called as database instance. For example, at the time of counting of votes, okay, we have to change the data. Okay, for round 1, X is leading. For round round 2, Y is leading. Like that, we have total. Round 1 is one instant, round 2 is another instant. Like that, we have complete all the rounds. Total, we have 20 rounds. After completion of 20 rounds, we will get the result. Okay, X will leading around 9. X win around 9 rounds. Y win around 13 rounds. Okay, automatically winner is a Y. That is total winning is called as a schema, database schema. Okay, together all the data base instance is called as a database schema. Okay, what is database schema is similar to designing a programming when we have to write a program variable declaration. Here database instance is like a variable. Okay, the variable value is changing frequently. Suppose if you declare any variable as a global variable in your program, in a main program you are assigned some a equal 10, in some sub program you can initialize a value is some 5. Okay, this is nothing but database instance. Okay, the overall variable declaration is called as a database schema. Okay, the database schema is depend upon the abstraction of data. Basically, we have three types of three level of data abstraction. What is the major motto of data abstraction? The major role of data abstraction is personalized and view of the sorting the underlying the data only once. Okay, means each and every level only user can access either one level only. This is the structure of database schema. It is also called as a database schema architecture or three level abstraction of the DBMS. Basically, we have three types of levels, or we are calling as a three types of schemas: physical schema, physical level or physical schema, conceptual level or conceptual schema, or external level or view schema. Okay, first we discuss each and everything individually. First, interlevel or physical schema. This is the lowest level of data abstraction, how the data are actually stored. The physical level describes complex low level of data structure in a detail. For example, in the previous session when we discussed about the ER diagram, okay, for a data model, we know about a person wants to construct a house. A person wants to construct a house. Okay, before he wanted to construct a house, first he meet some civil engineer. Civil engineer has to give a plan. That is nothing but the physical schema. Okay, that is nothing but the physical schema. Conceptual level is nothing but this is the next higher level of abstraction, physical schema. Okay, in this particular schema, we want to design the logical structure. Means the engineer, the civil engineer, or whatever it may be, architect has to give some logical level. Okay, logical level is nothing but he has to give some schema, what is that model? Okay, some building plan. That is nothing but a logical representation. Okay, house is not constructed, only he has to give only some logical structure. Okay, that is we are calling as a building. Okay, next one is external level, or this is called as a view level. This is the highest level of abstraction, describe only part of the entire database. Okay, the user can, this is also called as a user level. User can access data directly. Okay, for example, in a college database, okay, college database, there is a complete data. Okay, in a college database, we have a students, faculty, and HOD. Okay, as a student, you can access only about your marks and your fee details. As a faculty, just I wanted to check about what are the subjects, okay, what about my section students data, and I wanted to update the attendance, I wanted to update some marks. What about the HOD? HOD can take the faculty details and joining a total list of the faculty in a department, what are the activities going on in the department. Means that is nothing but the view level is in the previous example, in the previous figure. Okay, here view level, in the view level we have a viewer 1, viewer 2, view 3, view 4. Okay, actually we have only one database. View 1 is nothing but a student, view 2 is nothing but a faculty, view 3 is nothing but a HOD, and view n is nothing but some stakeholder, otherwise your parent, whatever it may be. Okay, actually there is only one database but different users. Similarly, we have to take any example. If you take some bank, okay, when you have to log in as a user, as a client, you can open and you can access only your current balance. If you wanted to transfer a amount, you can transfer a amount, means you can debit the amount and credit the amount. Whatever the some clerk, whatever the clerk duty is, he is performing some when the customer can credit the data, remove the amount. Suppose a customer wants to some withdraw some 10,000 rupees. Current balance is 50,000. Whatever the clerk can do, 50,000 minus 10,000. This is a task, separate task. Okay, means he can access only as a clerk, he can access only whatever the current balance of the particular customer. Suppose manager can check total overall the data. Means only we have one database but different viewers. That's why this is a here in the figure only I am representing end user. End user may be different. End user has a different views. Okay, this is nothing but external level. Okay, next topic is types of integrity constraints. Types of integrity constraints. What is integrity constraint? What is integrity constraint? Okay, integrity constraints are a set of rules. It is used to maintain the quality of information. Okay, if you want to construct any house or if you want to construct any database, first of all you have to frame a rule. Okay, if you wanted to frame a rule, suppose if examination, if you are attending for entrance examination, so if you take NPTEL exam or your BTech exams, whatever it may be, suppose exam starting is at 10 o'clock, but the instruction in the hall ticket instructions are gate will be closed at 9:30 only. Why? Okay, there are some set of rules to maintain a quality of the information. Means the who are the people, who are the candidates may be reached before 9:30, he is available for the examination within that time. Similarly, when we are constructing a database, we are maintaining types of integrity constraints. The integrity constraint is nothing but to maintain a quality of the data. We are using the integrity constraints. Basically, integrity constraints are classified into 4 types. Okay, first one is domain constraints, second one is integrity constraint, entity constraint, third one is referential constraints, fourth one is key constraints. Okay, if you create any database, we are maintaining these 4 constraints. Okay, domain constraints, entity constraint, referential constraint, and key constraints. Okay, first we discussed about what is domain constraints. Domain constraints can be defined as a definition of the values set of attributes, the data type of domains including the strings, characters, integer, date, currency, and etc. Okay, suppose in a particular table, okay, this particular table is nothing but a one domain or one entity. In this particular table, okay, here we have some ID, name, semester, and age. Okay, this is a data of student data. In a particular student data, okay, this is total is called as a domain. Okay, we have some attributes. Okay, ID is one attribute, name is another attribute, semester is one attribute, age is one attribute. ID in the form of maximum integer. That's why here you have to declare when you create a table. Okay, we are giving some ID as a number or integer. Next, name in the form of it is in the form of string. Okay, that's why when you declare a data type, we are giving as a string. Semester, okay, this is alphanumeric. Here we are writing first, otherwise first semester, second semester, like that. Okay, this is alphanumeric. Okay, next one is age. Age is in the form of only integer. Okay, in this example, Okay, fifth record here we have to give, instead of age integer value, we are enter some string value. Okay, it is not allowed. When you are enter this type of value, you will get error. What is error? Not allowed, because age is an integer attribute. These constraints I will explain the next session when we discuss on SQL. Okay, but what is the domain constraint? Domain constraint is basically concentrate on data type of the attribute. Okay, once you have to declare one attribute as a integer, compulsory, must and should, you will enter only integer database only. Okay, it is not possible of typecasting. In other programming language, suppose in C language or Java programming language also, if you declare a variable as an integer, if you want to assign some float value, we will get higher precision value. Okay, higher precision value. We get garbage value. Why? Because you are declaring as an integer, but you can access, you assign some float value. Okay, in the DBMS also, this concept is called as a domain constraint. Next one is entity integrity constraint. What is entity integrity constraint? Okay, the entity integrity constraint is a state that primary key value cannot be null. Okay, primary key value cannot be null. Okay, in the yesterday session we discussed about what is the primary key. In the entity we have in the strong entity. What is strong entity? A database having a primary key, a entity having a primary key, then that entity is called as a strong entity set. The primary key value always it not will be null. It's not a null. Okay, compulsory we are initializing some value. Okay, why? Because the primary key value is used to identify the individual row in a relation, and if a primary key value is null, we cannot identify those rows. Suppose in this example, employee name and salary. I wanted to know about salary of some John. Okay, salary of John. Okay, here I wanted to know, select star from some employee where salary name is John. Okay, 20,000. Suppose there is more than one John. Okay, ambiguity for a database. That's why we go with the employee ID. Employee ID is the primary key. This is a unique value. Okay, primary key is nothing but the value with a unique, that is called as a primary key. Okay, here employee ID, we have total 4 rows, but the 5th row, Jackson. Okay, employee name is Jackson, salary is 27,000, but we are not initialize any value. If we are not initialize any value, that value is considered as a null. Please remember, 0 is different, null is different. If you assign some 0, that is called as a value, but if you are not initialize any value, that is called null. Okay, in the 4th row we are not initialize any value, that's why that is called as a null value. Okay, entity integrity constraint is nothing but the primary key value must and should we initialize some value. It cannot be null. This is called as a entity integrity constraint. Next one is referential integrity constraint. Okay, what is referential integrity constraints? Okay, relational database. What is relational database? Okay, we are connecting one database with the another database is called as a relational database. Okay, referential entity constraint. Referential entity constraint is nothing but, suppose in this example we have a student and enroll. Student has to enroll some courses. Okay, as a part of JNTU, compulsory in 3.2 or 4.1 you have to enroll for NPTEL course. Okay, at least you enroll around 2 subjects NPTEL course and you successfully complete that courses. Okay, here this is a student database, this is the enroll of NPTEL. Okay, compulsory in the referential integrity constraint, if a foreign key in a table 1 reference to the primary key of table 2, then every value of a foreign key in a table 1 must be null or available in table 2. Okay, here suppose this is a table 1, this is a table 2. The table 1 is called as a parent table, this is a this is called as a child table. Means if he is a student, then only he is enrolled for the NPTEL. Okay, A, B, C. Okay, here we have a student names with different IDs. Okay, S1, S2. Okay, S1, S2. The student names are AA, but student S1 is another A2. Two student names are AA, but IDs are different. S1 and S2, SC, S4. Okay, S1 S1 is registered for course C1 and course C2. Okay, S2 is registered for C2. Next, S10 in the child table, S10 C1. Okay, here we have a problem, referential integrity constraint. While compulsory S10 belongs to student, then only is eligible, otherwise is not eligible. Suppose I am not a student, I am a faculty. I wanted to enroll some specific NPTEL course from as a JNTU student. Is it possible? Not possible. Why? Because if I am a student, then only I am eligible to enroll a course. Okay, that's why in a table 1 and table 2, compulsory. In this another example, employee name, employee number, employee name, age and department number. Okay, here 11, 24, 18. Okay, 11, 24, 18. Okay, here 18 not allowed as a department number, 18 not defined as a primary key. Okay, here we are not defined as a primary key. That's why compulsory in a parent table, if it is a foreign key, compulsory we are initializing these foreign key values in a table 2. Okay, here we are representing 11, 24, 13. We are not include 18. Okay, that's why what are the foreign key elements in a parent table? Compulsory we declared as a primary key elements in table 2, means child table. This is called as a referential integrity constraints. Okay, are you clear? Okay, please remember, okay, if we have a two tables, we are our discussion about relational database. Relational database is nothing but we have a relation between one table to another table. How we have to establish a relationship between the one table and another table? We have a common field. What is a common field? Means common field is nothing but common attribute. What is a common attribute in this particular table? In a table 1, department number, and here also we have a department number. Okay, how many rows here? We have total 4 rows. Compulsory in a child table also you have to representing 4 rows. You have to representing 4 rows. If you are not representing 4 rows, we can get the error. Here also S10, student 10 is not in primary table. We are try to include in the secondary table. Okay, both examples are different. In a first example, we have extra value in a table 1. We are not including the table 2. In a second example, we have S10 is not available table 1. We are trying to include in table 2. That is not possible. Okay. To overcome this problem, this type of problem is called as a referential integrity constraints. That's why when you construct a database, when you design a database, compulsory the foreign key values, what are the foreign key values you have specified in a table 1, means one table. That is a primary key of the another table. Compulsory we ensure that we enter the each and every value. Next one is key constraint. What is a key constraint? A key constraint is a rule that used to optimization purpose. Okay, keys are nothing but attributes. Okay, in a table or in a entity, keys are nothing but an attribute. Okay, in a previous table, employee number, employee name, employee salary, all are called as a keys. Okay, all are called as a keys. What are the types of key constraints? Key constraints are classified into 6 types. What are those? Not null, unique, default, check, primary key and foreign key. Okay, if we have to give some specific optimization of our database design, we go with the key constraints. Key constraints is nothing but some conditions. Okay, when you have to design some database, we have some constraints, key constraints. First one is not null. Okay, not null. Okay, if ensure that a column cannot have a null value or cannot have a null value, the not null constraint enforce a column not accept null values. Okay, in this particular table, okay, id integer not null. id integer not null means when you are initialize the values, when you are enter the values into a table, must and should you are initialize some value, specific value. In this example, id not null, last name not null, first name not null, only age is null. Means we are not give any key constraints. That's why if you are not initialize age value also no problem, but compulsory you have to initialize some specific value for id, last name and first name. Okay, this is about that not null. Next, unique constraint. Unique constraint is nothing but, okay, when you are filling a form, okay, in Google Form, whatever it may be, you have college code is common to all. Okay, that's why this type of is called as a unique value. Create table ID equal not null and unique, not null and unique, and last name is not null, first name is not null, age also we are not initialize anything. Okay, ID is not null and unique. Okay, unique is nothing but, suppose if ID in a student table, ID is a unique. Okay, if we have some 10 students have a different IDs. Okay, compulsory that is a not null and unique. Okay, if you are declaring any value as a primary key, please try to write not null and unique. Okay, then at the time of when you are insert the values, okay, the compiler has to give some errors. Here it having some key constraint, compulsory it having some value. This is a not null constraint and unique constraints. Okay, next, create a table, some ID not null. Okay, here the constraint person we are giving unique, ID and last name. ID and last name is a compulsory unique values. Okay, ID sometimes, okay, in a software companies we are identify the people by using some surnames. Okay, surnames, ID and surnames. Okay, sometimes, okay, in a team, if you want to give some surnames as a unique, okay, then we are using unique ID comma last name, both are unique. Okay, the person having the same surname, you are not including the particular team. At the time you are writing ID and last name as a unique. Next, primary key. What is the primary key? Okay, what is the primary? Primary key is a key constraint. Okay, it is identifies each and every record in a table. Okay, in a particular table, the primary key is identify a tuple. I think already you know what is a tuple. Tuple is nothing but a single row is called as a tuple. Okay, by using a primary key only we can identify a particular tuple, or we can manage a entire table by using primary key. Okay, primary key must contain unique value and it cannot be null. Okay, it cannot initialize. Okay, it cannot contain any null value. Okay, when you are declaring any key, means any attribute as a primary key, what are the two key constraints? What are those? Value may be unique. Okay, value compulsory unique, and it may be not null. Okay, and also primary key may contain singular multiple fields. Primary key contain singular multiple fields. I will explain this particular all the key constraints when we discuss about SQL. Next, foreign key constraint. What is the foreign key? In the previous example, referential integrity constraint, we check foreign key. Foreign key is nothing but when we have to establish a link between the two tables, compulsory we have to require one common field. Okay, in the first table that is a foreign key, in the second table primary key. Okay, compulsory foreign key in a table, in a second table, if you are declaring that is a primary key, that may be unique and not null. Next, check constraint. What is a check constraint? Okay, as of now, in COVID situation, when that at the time of vaccine release in the month of February, March and April, the age limit is who are the people having above 45, they are eligible for vaccination. Okay, in month of March and April. Okay, when you are entering the data, okay, just Government of India share one form. Okay, some citizen name, citizen Aadhaar card, citizen total details, and also age. Okay, at the time we have to write a constraint, check age greater than 45. Age greater than 45. Okay, citizen of when you enter a form, total form. Okay, we have around some 100 crores people. Okay, 100 crores people. Suppose if you take some Telangana, around 7 crores members. 7 crores members, only above 45, around 2 crores members only. For example, 2 crores members only. Okay, when they share, okay, all Telangana citizens fill a form. Okay, here they have to optimize the data. Means they wanted to identify who are the people, how many people having age above 45. Okay, at the time they they create a table by using check constraint. That is very easy to them optimize the solution. Okay, check constraint basically use it for to optimize the database, means filter the data. Okay, suppose in this particular table, ID not null, last name not null, and first name and age.
Okay, here check age greater than 18. Age greater than 18. Similarly, right now I think condition is if age above 15 years, in India age above 15 years, those are eligible for COVID vaccination. Okay, that's why previously age greater than 45, then age greater than 18, now age greater than 15. Like that we have to write a constraint, check age greater than 18. Okay, next default constraint. Default constraint is nothing but the value. Okay, if you when you fill it some Google form shared by your class teacher, whatever it may be, here college code is common, college code is common, or college name is so and so. Suppose if you belongs to JNTUH, that common, what is the common, what is the default for all of you, that is JNTUH. Suppose if you take, we are all are Indian citizens, what is the country? Country is a default India. Okay, when we open the particular form, the default is India. Okay, the country name is India. That's why when we are creating it database, the country, okay, city or country, varchar so and so, and default is here in this example city equal Hyderabad. Okay, suppose country default India. When I mention the country is India, the value is India only, means it can access only Indian citizen only. Okay, we will discuss these all the key constraints and integrity constraints. Okay, from I think next session with the practical examples. Okay.